Welcome back, Culés and football fans. Today we've got a packed update on Barcelona and beyond. From Newcastle entering the race for Marc Casado, to Roony Bardghji finally being registered, and Pedri earning big praise from his new teammate. Plus, we'll dive into Barcelona's defensive plans, Flick's trust in La Masia talents, and the long-term vision for Jofre Torrents. Stay tuned because this update is loaded with transfer rumors, squad news, and the latest insights from Camp Nou. Given the lack of goals last time out, they chose to overhaul the entire attack and spend an excess of £200 million to land 3 attackers and 1 goalkeeper. However, given Casemiro's aging legs, Manuel Ugarte's drop-off in form, and Kobbie Mainoo's unsuitability to Ruben Amorim's tactical system, it is clear that the head coach could do with more options. Barcelona's Marc Casado had emerged as an option due to his ability with the ball at his feet. Despite the increased interest, the Catalans held firm. Casado interest. Hansi Flick refused to let the 21-year-old leave, but the La Masia product has played only once this season, and naturally that has meant the rumor mill going into overdrive. TBR Football have claimed Newcastle have now joined the race for the Barca ace, and they are prepared to beat their competitors to the Spaniard's signature in 2026. The likes of Atlanta's Ederson and Atletico Madrid's Conor Gallagher were on Newcastle's radar as they considered bringing in another central midfielder. Casado emerged as a possible option for Eddie Howe and inquiries were made. Clubs like Man United, West Ham, Atletico Madrid and Marseille were linked in the summer, but Barcelona head coach Hansi Flick was keen to keep the 21-year-old international at the new camp. Newcastle joined the race, United move on to Belieber. Newcastle could return to their interest in Casado in the 2026 transfer windows, although he will likely be in demand again. Casado is a really interesting name to keep an eye on heading into 2026. Newcastle do need and wanted something extra in midfield, and he is someone who does appeal. It remains to be seen if he is attainable in the near future, but if he is available, then Newcastle are likely to be in the mix. Manchester United, however, won't be too concerned about missing out, as Ineos appear fully focused on securing Brighton's Carlos Baleba. The Red Devils are so determined to land the midfielder that they're even prepared to smash the British transfer record in January to get the deal done. Meanwhile, over in Barcelona, new signing Roony Bardghji has lifted the lid on his first impressions of the squad. When asked which teammate has surprised him the most since arriving, the Swedish youngster didn't hesitate with his answer. Barcelona new signing Roony Bardghji has been quizzed about his teammates in Catalonia and been handed the usual question about which player has surprised him the most. The Swedish youngster was in no hesitation about the answer and was full of praise for Spain midfielder Pedri. "Whenever someone asks me, I answer, Pedri," he said. "I think you can also see it on television, but when you see him up close, you realize what a special player he is." We all know that Pedri is a special talent and a player who is easily one of the first names on Hansi Flick's team sheets at Barcelona. Pedri has kicked off the new campaign in fine form, even earning a nomination for La Liga's Goal of the Month in August thanks to his stunning strike against Levante. The young midfielder is currently away on international duty with Spain for the World Cup qualifiers and is expected to feature again this Sunday when La Roja face Turkey. Barcelona ended up not signing Jonathan Tah this summer, despite reportedly agreeing a deal with the German defender, as a result of Ronald Araujo remaining at the club. However, nobody was banking on the exit of Íñigo Martínez, which has cast further uncertainty over the position. It appears Barcelona do not have full faith in Araujo as the long-term partner next to Pau Cubarsí just yet, with the Uruguayan 2 years removed from his last run of consistent form. Andreas Christensen is out of contract next summer, and Jules Koundé and Eric Garcia have both played their best football at right back of late. As per MD, although the money is not there to commit to a signing, Barcelona do have an eye on several options in case they can and feel the need to next summer. Cheaper alternatives for Barcelona's defense. In recent months, Barcelona have been linked to Palmeiras prospect Luis Benedetti, with a Brazilian defender tipped to make the jump to Europe shortly. Arsenal and Napoli are both interested in the 19-year-old though, and could provide competition. Another option that perhaps wouldn't command a huge fee is Paris Saint-Germain's Lucas Beraldo. Another talented young Brazilian, the presence of Willian Pacho and Marquinhos has left Beraldo short of opportunities. One name Barcelona could seriously consider is Crystal Palace defender Marc Casado. Real Madrid are already monitoring him, and Liverpool have tried to secure his services in the past. With his contract set to expire next summer, the England international could present Barcelona with a bargain opportunity, similar to the Jonathan Tah situation. Meanwhile, Thiago Alcantara is set to rejoin Hansi Flick's coaching staff this season. The manager greatly appreciated Thiago's input during the 2024 preseason and is eager to count on him once again as part of his technical team. As for pricier defensive targets, Nottingham Forest's Murillo remains on the radar. At just 23, he has already broken into the Brazil national team and is attracting interest from top clubs across Europe. However, Forest are under no pressure to sell and will not be letting him go cheaply. Equally, Sporting CP defender Goncalo Inacio is another name on the radar of Director of Football Deco. He recently met with Inacio's agent, and has a contract until 2027, meaning the Portuguese giants could be looking to sell next summer. As reported earlier in the week, Barcelona manager Hansi Flick had decided to allow youngsters Toni Fernandes, Gil Fernandes, Pedro Diarra Fernandes, and Jofre Torrents to train with the reserve team this week. The La Masia quartet have been in the first-team dynamics since preseason but were allowed to go down to the Barca athletic setup during the ongoing international break, with the idea being that they train and get some minutes in the reserve team's season opener on Sunday. Jofre Torrents not called up. However, when the Barca athletic squad list for their game against Paredes was announced earlier today, only 3 of the 4 aforementioned players were included. Indeed, Toni, Gil and Diarra were called up by manager Juliano Belletti, who also welcomed young winger Dani Rodriguez back after months out with an injury. But Jofre Torrents' name was missing. Now, according to Sport, Flick has stepped in and blocked Jofre being called up for the Barca athletic game on Sunday. With Alejandro Balde sidelined, the left-back position in the first team is weakened, and the German tactician decided to play it safe with the 18-year-old and not risk him picking up an injury in a fourth-tier fixture. Balde's thigh injury in training earlier this week is set to sideline him for close to a month, leaving Gerard Martin as the first-choice left-back, with Jofre now the backup. Neither David Oduro nor Alexander Walton, the other left-backs from Barca Athletic, are considered ready for senior duty. Hence, Flick opted for the cautious approach with Jofre, who already made his La Liga debut against Mallorca, showing the trust he places in the 18-year-old. Barcelona's long-term vision is clear. Jofre is being groomed to become a first-team regular at left-back for years to come, with his integration getting underway this season. Barcelona appear to have resolved their registration issues for another transfer window, after reportedly receiving confirmation from La Liga that they will be able to use Roony Bardghji. However, he will not be deemed a first-team player. Barcelona once again faced major hurdles this summer when it came to registering new signings and even renewing senior contracts for some of their academy graduates. Reports suggest the board had to provide at least €12 million in financial guarantees to push through 5 additions. Even then, players like Gerard Martin and Wojciech Szczesny were forced to sit out the opening 2 La Liga matches while the paperwork and approvals were finalized. As for Roony Bardghji, his case was the last to be resolved. The 19-year-old Swedish winger joined from Copenhagen in a €2.5 million deal, but there was uncertainty over his role, whether he would go out on loan, feature with the first team, or spend time with Barca Athletic. That uncertainty saw him miss the first 3 games of the season. Now Diario AS say that Bardghji has been registered with Barça Athletic, but will be available for the first team. La Liga have been keeping a close eye on signings being registered with affiliate teams and then being used exclusively with the first team as a way of getting around the salary limit rules, as is the case with Real Madrid's signing of Franco Mastantuono. However, like the case of Mastantuono, La Liga have confirmed that after examining Bardghji's contract, his salary corresponds to that of a Barça Athletic player, and not a first-team player. He will wear the number 28. Hansi Flick will make Pau Cubarsí return to his natural position as the right centre-back in the coming matches. What can Bardghji offer to Barcelona? The teenage talent was at one point one of the most coveted promises in Europe, but is still making his way back from a cruciate ligament injury that interrupted his progress. The 19-year-old showed good form in pre-season, moving well and able to get shots off. He is expected to provide relief for Lamine Yamal where necessary, playing for the most part off the right. So there you have it, from transfer whispers about Marc Casado and Barcelona's defensive reinforcements, to Roony Bardghji's registration boost and Pedri's growing influence, the Blaugrana have plenty happening on and off the pitch. What do you think, Culés? Should Barcelona make a move for a defender like Marc Casado or Goncalo Inacio next summer? And will Bardghji be the spark Flick needs this season? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more Barcelona news, and we'll see you in the next update.